Hello guys, today we're going to talk about HTML. And so general question people ask is why learning HTML and what is HTML. So today I'm going to discuss those, just like the importance of HTML rather than showing you basics and stuff. So what is HTML? So HTML is a standard markup dialect, so that will be used to make a web page. So to keep it simple, HTML is like a language or a coding language, same thing, that will be used to make a web page. So what HTML means? It means H for hyper, T for text, M for markup, L for language. So HTML depicts like how the structure of your web page should be. So for example, you're making a web page, and you want your title to be on the right side of your web page. So that's what HTML does. Using HTML, you could put it right, left, or in the middle. And if you want your text to be on the right and your picture to be on the left, it's all up to you. See, that's what HTML does. Is it puts it like it kind of makes a structure for your web page. So HTML components are building blocks of HTML pages. HTML components are spoken to by labels. So they also have like marked bits of substance like heading, paragraphs, table, and etc. So what is the best thing with HTML is, so when you write a code, you will have like a outcome. See, that's what HTML does. So a web page has all the coding stuff, and HTML does that coding. And so you write something and it will show the outcome in a man's, in a proper man language. So if I'm reading, if I know English, then I would have it in English. If I know like Spanish, then I would have it in Spanish. It's up to me. So HTML is just like a program that will be behind your web page, and you can't see it. The only thing you can see is the outcome. So what are the advantages of HTML? So the first advantage is it is widely used. So if I want a job, if you mastered in HTML, you could get a job anywhere you want. That's what it means, because a lot of, or actually, let's say 90% of the companies use HTML. So every browser supports HTML language. It's not like just Google Chrome supports HTML. It's not like Mozilla Firefox supports HTML. It's every browser in the whole, like your computer can access, has HTML language and supports it. And it's also extremely easy to learn and use. And you don't need to purchase any extra softwares. It is built in to your computer, any computer. So it is also really easy to edit, and whatever you want to download from a web page, if it is HTML, then it will be really fast because of the text, which is more compressible. So why HTML? Why learning HTML? Like most common questions. Some people told me, why am I learning HTML? Ask me why I'm learning HTML rather than learning other languages. The simple answer is, if you want to create a fast and easy web pages, and let's say you just want to keep it simple. You don't have any ambition to make it complex or anything, and you also want it easy to access so people can easily use it, then HTML would be the right thing. For me, HTML is like the best programming for web designing, right, compared to anything. Alright, next one. So I'll go over static and dynamic web page. So static is anything that is made up of HTML. So for example, any website, like common websites and really simple, like Wikipedia, take it over. That is HTML because it is simple and is easy to access and everything. For example, dynamic sites are like office sites, office websites, or like some government websites. Those would be dynamic, and they'll be using PHP, JavaScript, and ActionScript languages rather than HTML. So your file extension, for example, on the URL, whenever you're typing, if it is like an easy website, you will find .htm or .html, or if it is, and that is static web pages. If we're talking about dynamic web pages, it will have at the end, it will have like .php or .asp or .jsp. So PHP means PHP as in a language, ASP means action script, and JSP means JavaScript. Okay, last one. So what are some alternatives to HTML? There are a lot, but I'm just gonna go over some of them, like CSS. So it's cascading style sheets. Well, it describes like how HTML elements are to be displayed on your screen or paper or any media. So CSS saves you a lot of work, and you can also control like multiple web pages at once at the same time. And the next one is JavaScript. So JavaScript is more like, as I discussed, more dynamic and it is also like it acts the same thing as HTML, but it is used for more complex things on web pages. And DHTML is like, it is not a language, but it is an alternative to HTML because it has HTML. Okay, it focuses on dynamic HTML. That's what it means. DHTML means dynamic HTML. So it is not a language or a web standard. It is like a term that is used to describe like technologies, so that will be helped to make web pages. So DHTML is a combination of HTML, JavaScript, DOM, and cascading style sheets. So these four mixed up is the HTML. And in the next lesson, we're going to talk about HTML. So I'm not going to talk about CSS or JavaScript or DHTML. I'm just going to talk about just HTML and the basics of it. I'm just going to go over some basic programming. And yes, thank you.